Go.
I was thinking this past week, we're hitting summertime and summer hits a lot of different angles. It's great. Kids are out of school, they're doing their thing, but it's really thrown me off my schedule.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
find
it's one of those things, man. And I'll talk, and then there's distractions. And I'm not talking negative about this stuff.
no, of course not.
I'm grateful for the kids. I'm grateful that they're being able to enjoy summer and everything, but it is a distraction. And if that at the beginning of this year, I had to look at, man, what's distracting me from my business and being as productive as I can be, right? And I
Mhm.
challenge others to do that too. But that's where, and I went ahead and like on my social media, like I stopped my notifications on Facebook so I wouldn't get caught up in all the
Right.
reds on my phone. It looks like I my phone has measles or something. And but then I go and click them because I don't want all the red on there. You
You
know?
get you're one of those that wants to get rid of all the notification things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to get rid of it. So I took that off social media, and that's helped tremendously. It makes me not go to the social media platforms and start scrolling and wasting time when I should be working, prospecting, helping agents, doing whatever I can. That's
Right.
that was a big distraction remover. And now as we hit summer, it's like, huh.
That thing, it's like you work so hard to get in the zone through like from the start of the year after the Christmas and then like summer hits and it's like you have to start again. It's like everything changes.
It's constant. It's real estate, man, right? It's real estate 101. And it is life too. But I feel like with real estate, you're constantly changing,
Oh yeah.
you know? So, I
100%.
mean, you're ever evolving, you're ever changing.
Well, that was
So,
like when I first got into it, um, more into EXP specifically, I was still doing my social media marketing more than I was doing real estate. I've had to
mm,
flip that. In fact, I rarely do social media marketing anymore. I still do it and I still try to keep up to date with it all. I do it for myself.
yep,
Um, but that was because for me, the real estate business demanded all the time that I have. And it was not something that I can see somebody easily doing as a side hustle
hmm,
because we work with people and people need the attention all the time.
all the time.
Um, yeah, yeah, and you never know what's going to happen today. I had such a complicated closing this morning, but it got fixed. And it was one of those where I finished and I felt like if I wasn't there, nothing would have happened. Like the notary was clueless, the lender was clueless, the bank itself was clueless. The buyers had no idea what was going on, which is okay. That's why I'm there. That's fine. But the rest of
Right,
them have no. They're like asking me for documents, and I'm like, but that was supposed to be sent by them, and this like I have it with me. I'll send it to you. That's cool. But this should have all been done before today, which is closing day. So I don't know,
right.
like stupid that all the time. Um, and so things pop up. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, this has been a really stressful closing for me because things just kept creeping up, and I'm like, and it was urgent and it needs done now, and it's like 6, 7 p.m. I'm like, oh damn it. It's like there's always something. That's why
Right.
I try to focus on having fewer listings and just increasing the quality of my service to clients as well, I think, because we can be more attentive that way.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everybody raises the bar, whether it's lenders or the notary, and hopefully everybody gets to that higher level. And that's what it sounds like. You're on that level, and everybody else is kind of there. And I'm not making that sound bad. I mean,
No,
it's
I
just
know
where
what
it
you
is.
mean.
You have great standards, and you're there to take care of your client. And then again, you're well prepared. But on the backside, yeah, you've got a headache. You've got all this hair pulling and question marks to know if you're going to close because you're the only one driving the boat when you need two other drivers or whatever. With the notary and the lender and all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But the crazy, and this is what I was thinking about it as well, is not for me, no two sales are the same. It's crazy. It sounds like
right,
that's impossible, but no two sales are the same. And after today, it was like I went in with all the confidence in the world. Like I've done this a bunch. I know exactly what I'm doing. I have everything done, sent off to everyone. There's nothing that could literally go wrong today. It's all done and clear. I was like sending emails yesterday and the day before, like, do you have everything you need? Anything you need, let me know, please, 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 like 3 times a day. They probably hate me, the notary office. But um and then we go in and there's like all these things going on. I'm like, well, how did this happen? Like, you had everything ready. And it just kind of showed me that after all these years, you still learn from even what looks like maybe the simplest sale or whatever. There's still things that pop up, and there's still things that are gonna catch you by surprise. Um, so yeah, although I went in with that confidence and the authority, like, this is done, it is
Mhm.
easy, easy peasy. All of a sudden, it's like boom. Like what was it Mike Tyson said? Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what today was. I got punched in the mouth. I was like, oh, okay. I don't get too cocky about it. It's the universe telling me, hey, like, okay, you're doing your job, but don't get too confident about it. There's still some things you need to learn. So
Uh,
that's that's what real estate does. It keeps you on your toes.
yep, it does, man. And again, kudos to you for helping your clients. How long did that transaction go for you? Because I know I heard about it before. Um,
They signed the contract um 3 months ago. They
yeah,
saw the property about 4.5 months ago.
okay,
So yeah, it was a longer process than normal.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was a good, again, a good one to close. But there was two things, and I just shared this in my social media. Two things that I always come away with it trying to learn something new, which I did. All this
good,
crap popped up. But um, one is take on and manage all of the complex stuff so that your client thinks that it looks easy, and then just make sure that they're comfortable and happy when everything's finished, no matter what the cost is. Because I had to do things in this transaction which no other realtor in my area would do. Like I'm talking about like paying things for them and just getting stuff ready for them, which I had nothing to do with and I didn't need to do.
yeah,
Um, and like I always say, this turn them into friends, not another transaction. So like those two things is what I came away with today, which is
love it.
cool, but it turned into, I've already got one 5-star review from one of them. So yeah, it's take on the complicated stuff. It's stressful as hell. But when they say thank you afterwards and they talk about recommending you and they're so grateful for all the work that you did, that it's worth it. 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. And I laughed when you said about that it's easy for your clients. And I
Makes
think
it look easy
that's,
for them.
yeah. I was thinking about that the other day because I've got a closing coming up this week, and it's been smooth sailing. And my client reached out. He goes, "What do I need to do, man? I feel like I'm missing something." I was like, "Dude,
Exactly.
you've been on top of it. Everything's moving forward." He's like, "Well, this has been really easy." I said, "Cool. Then I'm doing my job." And I don't say that part to them. I say the
No.
cool part and I stop. But in my mind, I'm like, "Good." I take that as an ultimate compliment
Yes.
that I'm making this easy, whether it's through communication, whether it's through being proactive instead of reactive. Uh, you know what makes it easy for those clients, and again, that I think that goes back to almost day one of getting to know those clients, whether they're a seller or a buyer, and
Yeah.
what's important to them.
Especially when it becomes a drawn out process like this one I had,
Yeah.
because you're in touch with them more often and for longer periods. So you really do get to know them,
True.
on
Yeah.
a personal level.
Well,
Um,
and you even
and
you even get to know them a little beyond that personal level because you've got now emotions together,
oh yeah,
and their emotions are heightening, and they may come at you at times, right? And they
oh
may
yeah,
be mad, they may be sad, they may be
100%.
happy. whatever you don't know, and then you've got to help say, all right, hey, especially mad and sad. All right, we can get through this. Now you got to be a pep talk and walk them through those options so
Exactly.
they know, oh man, Ian, Jason, they know what they're doing. They've got this next step for us. Cool. They already saw this coming. Oh wow. Right? Just like you
Yeah.
said, hey, you've got the paperwork with you, even though you shouldn't have had the paperwork.
Exactly. Exactly.
You were proactive in that manner, and that is amazing. So, and that's a big thing. If you find yourself, and not you, Ian, but you in general who are watching, finding yourself being reactive, maybe reactive with kids, reactive with a pet, reactive in nature. Look at that, and how do you turn that to be proactive? Live your life, see what's going on, take a pause before you react, learn, grow, and then that way in the future you could become more proactive in the years to come too. So that's my 2 cents.
You know what's cool about that is, and I just remembered this the other day, and the fact that I had to remember it is a fault on my part, but this might be a kick in the butt for some of the people listening. Um, do you do like your word of the year thing? Some people do,
I
some
did
people
not do
don't.
it this year.
Right. Mine this year was peace.
Okay.
And I it has like a deeper meaning than just like being peaceful and monk mode and Buddha and all that stuff. Or hippie, whatever. But peace in the sense that, for example, if and this is not something I did before, but I know that people get really heated about it because I've seen it in my organization. They'll see something in social media and they'll send it over to me and then they'll give me a call and they're like, "Did you see this? Blah 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 blah. Like, I hate this guy. I can't believe blah 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 blah." And it's like, and I'm just like, "Whoa, just peace, peace and love, man, peace and love."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're super reactive to the comments. They're super reactive to the stupid little things that they don't need to be. And when you said there about taking a step back and just taking a moment, that's the piece that I'm talking about. It's not making radical decisions based on some heightened emotion event that's just happened, whether it's with a client or whatever. Which with this one, I had a bunch of them. The seller was crazy, like emotional up and down. It was insane. Like I had no idea what to expect when she was calling me, like shitting my pants every time. Um, but it was peace. And I recently just came up with it again. I was like, oh crap, I need to remember about this peace. Just be cool, just be stoic against whatever is coming. Take a step back, analyze, and then make a decision slowly, kind of with it all. So, it's cool that you said that. And it reminded me of my word of the year, which again
Yeah.
I remembered for like January and February, and then I forgot about it until now. So, like
Well,
you,
write it up or put it on your wall, man, in front
I
of your
should, yeah.
computer or something. So that way you don't forget about it. Like on my computer, I hang some notes just for stuff that's super important that I can forget. Um,
Yeah.
and something like that, do that. Even if it's a small piece of paper, you're gonna see it, and just have that piece on there. But finding that piece is definitely crucial, and keeping it cool. Don't be reactive. Find that common ground, find peace. And maybe it's taking a weekend off. Maybe it's taking a day off. Maybe it's taking vacation time to find that.
Mhm.
So that's where you have to turn on yourself in a good way and look at yourself and say, what do I need to do here? I've talked about for weeks, I've been in my little rut. This weekend comes through and doing my thing. It was whatever, it was a weekend. And then Sunday, I took two of the girls to the sporting store. We were getting some softball gear and stuff, and we had a really cool time. And we weren't even there that long, and we just had a good time. And I just came back, and it was just like I didn't think about anything else
Right.
but softball for the girls. And we talked
There you
about
go.
batting, we talked about different softballs, we talked about wrapping a bat,
Yeah.
all this stuff we were just talking about because they were questioning. They were asking questions. They were inquiring about these things. So we would just walk through the aisles and pick this, that, and talk about it, and it was cool. And that's what I needed. And I didn't know that. But it
Yeah,
took that moment to be like, it pushed me just to get out of my way, find my peace,
that was it. That was peace. Yeah,
and regroup. And I came back on Monday and it's like, all right, cool. I set a couple appointments on Monday. I felt so much better, you know? So
yeah.
you never know. You gotta search your soul, man, every day in this business and find out how to find that peace, that steady line, especially when you're getting tons of momentum, you're hitting that go, 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 go. Be sure to find that peace. Bring yourself down a little bit because that I did not do that. If you recall my
Yeah.
story a month ago,
Yeah.
I was riding the plane, baby.
And then it's like a
But if
brick
I would have
wall.
found my peace and grounded myself, I could have carried that on for much longer. So I love your word
Totally.
peace, man. Um, that's very, very good. Let's all keep it in mind.
Yeah, and also I just want to make a quick incision here. It's not, I'm not talking about like, for example, not reacting to something. So, like going back to the social media thing, you see something, maybe it's targeted at you or something that you love, and you're just like, ugh, rather than um being all peaceful and seeing that and deciding not to react. That's one thing, which is cool because I think it's tough for someone to stop and make that kind of decision rather than just reacting to it, especially if you've been reacting to stuff for like 40 plus years or however old you are. That's not something you can do from one day to the next.
Right.
So it's not ignoring it, but it's still stopping to analyze and then making a decision. So yeah, your decision might be to react aggressively. That's fine, but at least it wasn't like a snap decision and it wasn't like a subconscious thing that you just did because of pure habit. You actually stopped and and came to that decision. It was a thoughtful process to get to that decision. That's what, the peace thing is as well. It's not just, yeah, like peace and love floating around on a cloud, ignoring everything and whatever, cross-legged, smoking weed and
Right.
no, that's not.
So, two different kind of pieces. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's a much more philosophical and psychological kind of
Yep.
piece. So
Yep.
no, but I think it's
But
necessary in this
it
business.
is. It is totally necessary. And that's why I like it because I think a lot of people think of that piece of the hippie style, you know. And it is. I mean, that's just kind of how society dictates it when you think that, and they don't think of it as a more of a mindset to find that happy medium would be like,
Hmm.
all right, cool. Hey, how do I work this? Let me ground myself. Let me take a step back. So,
Yeah, but if you think about that with past transactions that you've had, if it's with clients that maybe you fell out
mhm,
with, maybe it went through, but you were like at the closing table and there was just tension there and it wasn't a nice feeling kind of thing. Yeah, you got paid and whatever, and then you just kind of went separate ways. Like, just think about how maybe that could have changed if you were thinking that way. And then even, I don't know, fighting with your partner, your husband or your wife or your kids or whatever it is as well. There's so many things, there's so many ways that that piece can really play into everything that you do. And I don't know, when you really think about it, so many things could have went differently if you'd just taken a second to think about what you're about to do or say or whatever. So, but real estate is real estate, and it's extremely stressful. It's difficult to stop and make that decision when, things are going crazy and you're in the moment and you're so stressed, and then you can't sleep, and then you've got like this closing to do, and then you've got like viewings tomorrow with this guy that you hate, and then I know it's hard to see the light in those situations, but again, it's not something you can do one day to the next. I think you have to work on it. And that's just personal development. That's just growth.
mhm,
You'll feel
mhm.
better for it once you do it in practice and get into it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and when you talk about like personal development too, I know that's something me and you constantly work on, not only on each other or, for ourselves, for our families, but for the Champions organization too.
Oh, yeah.
It's you've gotta look at that. How do you push your own needle? How do you move that forward what's your goal? You have a goal in place to say, hey, here's my steps to get to that goal. And then when you achieve that goal, what's next? So I mean, there's so much that goes into everything, and I really love this conversation. How it keeps on kind of just moving to the next little tidbit here
Yeah,
for us, because I think a lot of people don't have goals. They just say, hey, I'm going to sell 50 homes, 20 homes, 10 homes this year. They don't have a goal or a plan of action. How can you not have an action plan? You got to have something to work to get there, you
there
know?
was a guy in my organization that recently left. Um, but this isn't for him, turns out, which is okay.
Hmm.
He's on the outside, he's huge in the personal development thing. And then when I sat down with him at one point and I was like, okay, so what's your goal? And he said something like 50 transactions this year. I think he did two. But we were like, okay. It was like, okay, that's like I know that that's a big goal for you and that I understand that you're ambitious and that you're aiming high. That's
Right.
cool. Let's do that, but let's kind of break it down and see. So we kind of did come up with this plan to get there, but I feel like his fault was that he had the goal there, he had the plan, but he wasn't the person that he needed to be to get those 50 transactions done. And that never changed. So
Mhm.
although some people do have the plan, it might not work because you're not turning into the guy that's capable of doing 50 transactions in a year.
That's a great story. And you have to know, is it a realistic goal?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of sounds like that. Like you
Yeah.
said, ambitious, love that. And I'm not going to fault that. But if last year you only sold 0 to 5 homes and you're shooting for 50 this year, hmm, that's going to feel a lot different. If you did 5 last year and you're going for 50, you have to 10x what you did last year.
Yeah.
And
And he wasn't,
not many people can do that.
no, no. And he wasn't able to convert or evolve into the person that's
Yeah.
capable of doing 50 a year. So that never
Yeah.
happened. That's why the personal development thing is so important. If you're not uh ready for that 50 transactions, it's always the same. Like your level of personal development is going to limit your business success.
Mhm.
You need to increase the personal development to increase the other. So you can't go like this. It's just
Yeah.
impossible. You need to do one to do the other. And well, yeah, at the end, it was he made the decision to leave. I saw it coming, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's cool. It's what happens. But I don't know. We talk a lot about having a plan and getting it ready and just step by step. I think we spoke about the 12-week year on the show. I don't know if it was last time or the time before or whenever, which is amazing, puts everything into play for you. But if you're not willing to make the changes to become the person that can execute on that plan, then it's never going to happen. So
Yeah.
personal development is my jam. It's my thing. So
It is. No, that's you coach very well on that. And I love that too. It got me thinking to an agent I spoke with yesterday, and she's in referral status right now, and then she was thinking about coming back into real estate, doing it part-time and working her way up to full-time. So I'm asking questions, why would she want to get into real estate again? I'm trying to really find what's going to motivate her. And
yeah,
just like the gentleman that left, what motivates him to say, hey, I only sold 5, I need to sell 50, or if I only sold 2 and I want to sell 50, whatever that is. And so I asked her, and we I wanted to know, like, how many homes would you want to sell? She runs a hair salon business.
okay,
And so she wants to keep that full time, and she's done it for years, and then do real estate part time till she can shift those gears.
right, right, yeah,
And so I said, that's cool. And I said, so why do you want to do both? And she's got a young baby too, about 2 years old, as well. She's taken care of. She said her reason why she wanted to do both is because she wanted to have her baby have an amazing life. And so that's why she wants to supplement with real estate money what that looks like. I said, that's awesome. Love that answer. Absolutely love that answer. So, not including what you make in hair salon because she says she lives comfortable off of that money. I said, push that away. How much extra money do you need to make a year that would be feasible? That would make you say, hey, I could build for her. We could do extra
Right.
things, all this stuff. She thinks about it for a minute and she says, 40 to 50,000. I said, all right, cool. Great number. I said,
Mhm.
let's call it 50. Let's go on the high side.
Right.
Because if you're content with 40, then if we get a little less, cool, you're still happy, right? So I went back and I reverse engineered it. And so I'm like, all right, she wants to make $50,000. So what I did, average here in the United States for a broker commission is about 3%. So I actually
Hmm.
divided by zero point zero 0.03. I've got
Hmm.
my math here on my paper. It ended up being $1,670,000 in
Okay.
sales. All right. So
Insane.
she
Yeah.
needs to
Got it.
sell $1,670,000 in sales. If she averaged $300,000 per closed transaction, so if that house she sold or bought was
Yeah.
300K, that's that
Right.
average. She'd have to close 6 deals. And I asked her, I said, that's that's one every other month.
Yeah.
I said, how does that feel for you? She's like, I could do that. I said, perfect. Let's get you on that path. Let's help you. Let's help you get motivated to do one transaction every other month. Get that feeling for the first year. Be held
Hmm.
accountable. Understand it, and then let's go into the second year now and say, what do you want to get to now? Do you want to do
Right.
6 again? You want to go down? You want to do 5? Was 6 too much? Or do you want to push yourself and say, hey, I want to focus on my kid who's now 3 years old. All right.
Right.
If in the next 7 years I want to do this, and this is again those math equations that I love to do, the reverse engineering, let's future cast now
Yeah.
to say, hey, by your daughter's 10th birthday, what kind of money do you want to save? Is it that whole $50,000 or is it 20% of that? And you're saving 10 grand every year for the next 7, 8 years. Now
Mhm.
you and her have an extra $80,000 in 10 years, whatever the number of math is.
Right.
So it's going through those stages to really say, hey, what number is important to you? Whether it's a dollar figure or whether it's a big transaction figure like, hey, we want to sell 50 homes.
Hmm.
Awesome. What are you doing that you could do 50 homes?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, nothing. I sit on at my desk and I twiddle my thumbs and I wait for people. Mm,
Yep.
not going to be the right strategy, right? So that stuff, that's what we're here to help with. And I know you do that a lot in Spain and throughout all the countries that we're in. And that's what I'm doing too. I want to be able to have it make sense for agents. Don't
Right.
just get into this business and say, "Oh, I'm going to make $1 million." You can. Let's build that and let's do like an architect and let's design it to see
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
looks like. What's this? What's this angle? What's this measurement? What's the height? What's the width? What's the depth?
Hmm.
And then let's put it into formula. So it just got me thinking, man. That stuff. I want people to understand what it takes to get to where you want to go, and that's what I want to help build.
Yes. And you know what the problem is I also just shared this like yesterday, I think it was on social media. Um, People aren't willing to or even think about um the price of reaching your goal or living comfortably or living your dream life or whatever it is. So if your goal might be to be financially free, it might be to buy a new car, it might be to get a condo at the beach or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is, people don't think about the price that they would have to pay, or the tax, I would call it, the tax to get there. Because people live comfortably. They love their Starbucks in the morning, which is a non-negotiable, which amounts to hundreds of dollars a month without them even realizing. And then, they do this and they go out and they go shopping and they buy all this stuff on Amazon and all this stuff because it's just their routine way of life and they're comfortable and it's okay and it's nice. People aren't willing to really lock in for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, however many years it takes, depending on what your goal is, to then live comfortably for the rest of it. So it's like, let's just say you live to be 100. Is it not worth you really, really, really working really hard for like 3 of those 100 years to live comfortably for the next, I don't know, 60 or however old you are?
Mhm.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's quick math. So 3 years out of 100 and I can live comfortably for 60. Hell yeah, let's do it. But
Right.
people don't. People don't do
No.
it. They're not willing to give up that Starbucks in the morning or put money away every month into some kind of investment account or whatever it is, or invest in themselves, invest in training, invest in the business, whatever it is, because they're just too comfortable and they're nice running up the credit card bills and whatever else. So I don't know. That's what it is. What
Yeah.
does it take to get there? You build that thing out like an architect, but then you have to make the decision to put in the work for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes to get you where you want to go.
Hmm.
That's what it
So
is.
it's so right. I was just thinking when you mentioned Starbucks, I did some math on the calculator. And it kind of ties into a distraction. Does a Starbucks visit, is that a distraction? Maybe a distraction in your bank account, a distraction in your morning, what have you. But doing the math, if you bought a $7 cup of coffee every day, 7 days a week, uh,
Yeah.
I don't even think I did the right math. Hold on. Hold on one second. I'm just thinking now.
Hold on. What was it? So seven.
$7.
Yeah.
I think I did 7 days a week. For 7 days,
That's $49 a week.
$49 a week. So when you do that, I mean that's a couple $100 a month.
Month. Yeah, it's just under $200 a month.
Yeah. You know,
That's over $2,000 a year.
yeah.
It's
So,
crazy.
what does that look like where, like you said, to make those 3 years hard to live 60 great,
Right. Well, yeah.
you know,
Is it not worth it?
right. And and I get it, you want to treat yourself too, but again, it's kind of like that I was saying at the beginning. I was riding high. I should have went
Yeah.
and found my peace, right? I
Right.
should have
Right.
found that middle ground. Again, everything's correlating to everything we're talking about today.
Yeah.
When you're buying coffee every day, you want more coffee, want more coffee, want more coffee, right? That's the thing about coffee. That's why I love it. Give me more. Ah!
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But it
it.
is. But that's yeah. I don't go out and spend $7 a day. It's a different story, but treat yourself when you could treat yourself. I get that. But does it need to be a daily routine?
Right. Right.
That's for you to answer. That's not for me to answer, right? So,
And also, those of you watching that have been paying a gym membership for the last 6 months and you haven't been at all in the last 6 months, just cancel it. You're never going back. Just come to accept it. Yeah, but next week I think I might go. Nah, just leave it.
yeah.
Start at home until you get into the habit of it, and then go to the gym.
Yeah.
Cancel it. That's money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
So true.
So cool, man. I like this one. Everything did come together and correlate. My
Yeah.
closing, the word peace, working hard on your goals,
Yep.
accepting who you are, becoming who you need to be. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Moving away from distractions, it's about you got to get your mindset and really if you look at everything we talked about, it was a lot mindset.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of our favorite topics always is mindset. You and I always love talking about that, sending some positive quotes or, hey, did you check this one out? And
Yeah.
it's always fun. So, but
I,
yeah,
I,
I agree. I enjoy stuff like this too. And we just want to, I know in both yours and my heart, we want the best for people and we want them to figure things out. But sometimes people need a leader in front of them to say, "Hey, come walk down this path," and and
yeah.
and, and literally look at the path as you're
Yes.
walking through it. And that's what we do, man, on
That's
a
it.
daily basis. So I love it.
Yeah. Clients and agents alike. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Quick question. Is it possible in the US to do a sale, like me sell my property and then the exact same day, the same morning, buy another one? Or is it like, is that,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, like with
Yeah.
the money from the sale, you can then buy with, yeah,
I
on the
mean,
same.
I'll do back-to-back closings. So they sell their first one, we close at 10 a.m.
Right.
and then they buy their second one and we close at 11. So then the money just goes right over.
Right,
And
right, right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's that dance.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had my first one today and the money didn't go through. There was a big,
Ooh.
yeah,
That's so
there was
I
a
don't
big
know
thing.
how it would work in Spain. So like for us, so we have a title company.
Hmm.
The title company would get the money from the bank of the buyer.
Hmm.
That money from the bank of the buyer goes to our federal government. The federal government checks to make sure that money is valid, and
Yeah.
then they shoot it over to the title company. When that seller is going to then buy immediately following. Generally, I think our title company holds that.
Okay.
And I think they shoot it to the next
Seller.
transaction.
They can just do it.
And
Yeah,
then,
they like skip over. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I think, but I've had gaps in that as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a live and learn situation depending where you are. Um,
Hmm.
or who you're working with, whether you're here in the United States with the title company or whatnot. What does that look like? So, yeah, it can be, but again, that's where you want to be proactive, right?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be reactive and be like, oh, there's no money.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened. And I actually went myself to the bank and I was like, "Hey, remember when your clients bought a house? Yeah, like at 10 o'clock this morning. Yeah, where's the money?" It's like no one has it.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
that was interesting. It went on for a long time. It was a really long close, and it was like I was out from like 9 a.m. in the morning. I didn't get back till about, I don't know, it was like quarter past one or something like that. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really,
That's a
really
long
long
one.
morning. But cool, man. It's
Nice.
no, pleasure.
Well,
Pleasure talking to you as always.
I got the latest edition of Success Magazine
Oh,
in the
sweet.
mail yesterday. So real cool stuff they got on there.
Oh,
So
nice.
real cool articles, man. There was this one I was reading. What page was that on? Is it this magazine's really cool, man. Like right here, they're talking about mind over pain. It's just, just mindset stuff. Um, and it covers like work and life and
Yeah,
real estate. It's so cool, man. And it's not even just, it's not about EXP. It's about all that stuff non
yeah, yeah, yeah.
EXP. So super cool,
That's cool.
man. But
Yeah,
yeah, that arrived yesterday. So always a nice
sweet.
little leisure reading.
Yeah, yeah. Damn right. Cool. Cool, man. All
Well,
right.
cool, brother. Well, always a lovely time.
Likewise, likewise. If you're watching, if you learned something today or you've sit thinking, you've got something new that's on your mind. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, maybe I should do something about that. Let us know. Leave a comment, subscribe, or share, and whatever. And we'll see you in the next one, I hope.
Sounds awesome. Let's do it. We appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, Ian. Good chat, bud. Peace.